day everybody, my name is Daniel and I'm going to be your instructor for today's video. So based off of previous videos, hopefully you guys already have code blocks installed, and if you're not using code blocks then it doesn't matter as long as you have an IDE that can run C++, okay? So before we get into the video, I just want to say a little something, guys, just to give you a little bit of knowledge about what actually programming is. Just a second of your time, okay? But if you don't care, you want to get straight to coding, you can just skip ahead, okay? What I want to speak about is one thing that my instructor, back when I was first learning how to code, was that my instructor didn't really give us education about what programming was and what it was all about. And I think that that's a fundamental flaw that he made, and therefore we spent months and months and months programming even though we didn't know what programming was, okay? So what programming is that you're basically creating applications. That's basically what it is. You're writing code, right? This jargon that it doesn't make sense, putting it into the computer so that the computer can process it and return a result, okay? Return something or do something. You're basically telling the computer what to do. And most of the time when we tell a computer what to do, that results in the computer creating these applications, right? So we are creating applications, but really we're telling the computer to create these applications, but we're specifying exactly what we want these applications to do or behave like or look like. You get me? So two types of applications: console applications and then your visual applications. So console applications are what we're going to start with, and then we're going to move on to actual visual applications in other tutorials or in other courses or other modules, just like COS1511 if you're going to be doing that module at a later date. But in this module, COS1511 or COS1512, what you're going to be doing is just working with the console. It is still programming, we're just working our way towards building visual applications. Visual applications are things like, for example, on your phone, you have things like WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, maybe you have your calendar app, your mobile phone app, a drawing app, a notes-taking app, even the camera app is an app at the end of the day. That's something that someone sat down and actually wrote code for, programmed it so that when you click on that button, it actually shutters and actually captures that image. So all these things are applications, and these are things that we're working towards, right? You want to basically write some form of a statement, and then the computer takes that statement and executes it so that when you press that button, it actually does do the shuttering, okay? So that's basically what programming is all about, okay? So the different types of programs, you have programs that go on your phone, on your desktop. You have programs that run in spaceships, not spaceships, but you know, rockets that are launched by Elon Musk. You have programs that run in the car, right? You're sitting in a car and you see these little screens there that you can click on, tap on, increase the volume of increase the volume in a car. Those are programs, right? Some are visual, some are less visual. So without any further ado, guys, I just wanted to get that out of the way, and now we can actually start writing actual code, okay? Like I said, you guys should have at least have code blocks installed. I have it installed and I already have it running over here. So we're going to create a new project, okay? So in code blocks, what you can do is that you can click on File, New, Empty File, or you can say File, New, go on Project, right? But I'm just gonna click on it here, Create New Project. I'm gonna click on that, and then this will pop up. I'm gonna say Console Application. It's right here on the first row, right? If you don't see it on the first row, just keep scrolling, maybe you'll see it. Just look for Console Application, click on Go, and then click on, it'll give you two options, C or C++, depending on what you installed. If you don't see C++ here, that means you have code blocks installed incorrectly and you have to actually fix it. So you need to go back and review what you did install, what you didn't install. It means you didn't install it properly. So we're going to be doing C++. So select C++, click on Next, and then you're going to have to create a project title. So I'm going to name my project Lesson 1, okay? And the second input box here, I'm gonna select exactly where I want the project to live. You might want to change this, because if you don't change it, you might have problems not knowing where your program or project has been stored at. Okay, you might have to look for it. So I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna change the directory. I'm just actually gonna put it here in the folder that I know I'm gonna find. I'm gonna select folder, and I'm gonna click on next, and I'm not gonna change anything here on this menu right here. I'm not gonna change anything at all. I'm just gonna click on finish, and this is what's gonna pop up. So for some people, what will pop up is the actual file with the code, but for us, we don't get that. So what we're gonna do is that we're just gonna click on the workspace on the left hand side over here. I'm just gonna click on this plus button, says lessons, and menu main.cpp. I'm gonna double click on that, and this is what will show up. Okay guys, so this is what shows up, and this is exactly what we want to work with. Okay, don't worry about what this means right now. I'll explain everything in a second. So what you want to do now is that this is a program that has already been written, right, for us. Okay, so we're gonna just click on run, and then we want to see this program being run. Okay, ran. Okay, so what you want to do is that you're gonna look for a button, a green play button over here, not a red one, a green one. And if you can find it, it means we need to run it manually ourselves first. So just click on F9. F9 is another way of running a program. So I'm just gonna click on F9. Maybe you have a function key also on your keyboard. Click on function key and F9. Click on that, and you'll see this thing pop up, this black terminal. This thing is called a terminal. Okay, excuse me. Yes, this terminal pops up, and it has the words hello world over there, and then after that it says process return, blah 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 blah, execution time, press any key to continue. So when you're on this menu, you can click on any key on your keyboard and it'll disappear. Okay, so what basically happened there is that the program ran, and then you clicked on any key to terminate the program. So that's what happened. Okay, so usually after doing running it manually with F9 and closing the program now on your IDE in code blocks, you will have this green play button pop up again. So now you don't have to click on F9 anymore. You can just click on this, and it will just start working like that. So you don't have to use F9 anymore. Okay, for some people, automatically the green button comes enabled, and you can just click on it automatically, or just click on F9 if you don't see any play button. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the code, guys. All right, so this code, I'm gonna explain it line by line. Okay, so firstly, I'm actually gonna remove everything so that I can explain each and every single line. Right, you don't have to type this out because it's already typed out for you, but if you want to, you can. Okay, so first things first, if a program is like this and there's no lines here, a lot of things will not work. Okay, so I clicked on run, and I'm getting the same output that I got in the previous one. That's because I didn't save it. I'm gonna save everything. So if you could click on Control-Shift-S, that saves everything. You can run it, might still give you the same output. It's because C++ doesn't recognize an empty file. So you actually need to change something and actually write something meaningful for it to actually register. Okay, so I'm going to retype the contents that the program, our IDE came with, just to explain what exactly is happening. Okay, so I'm going to say #include. I'm going to use these curly braces here, and I'm saying IOSTREAM. So this says include IOStream. What this line basically does is that it calls all the functions out there that make it possible for our program to run, right? So there are a lot of things that are tied together in C++ programming, right? So we're including these functions that are already predetermined for us, or pre-written for us, so that we can use them here. Okay, so we just need that line. So you're going to see this line in almost every C++ program that you write. So familiarize yourself with it, okay? And the next line is using namespace std, okay? So using namespace std, basically you'll get to see it in action, right? And I'll explain it when we actually break down the code, okay? So, and then another line is the actual function, okay? So we're gonna create something called a function. So I'm gonna say int, which stands for integer, and I'm gonna write the name of my function, which is main, and every function has an opening and a curly braces, and every function has an opening curly braces and a closing curly braces. So you can just write or type these things over here, right? And inside of this main function, right, as you can see, it's between these two main curly braces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say return 0, okay? And still in between this curly braces, I'm going to write cout, right? C-O-U-T, that stands for cout. And I'm going to use these angle brackets right here to demonstrate what I want to see out to the console. Okay, I'm going to say braces, and I'm going to telling the computer what it needs to output, right? You need to enclose that in quotation marks, just like you're speaking in English or you're writing a paragraph. In quotation marks, you're going to do this, and you're going to say whatever it is that you want to tell the computer to do. So you can tell it anything. You can say hello world. You can even say I am good, okay? Whatever it is that you want to include in these curly braces, in these quotation marks, you can. And then last but not least, inside of these braces, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to have a next line key or next line character, right? You don't have to have this, but I'm going to have it. You know what, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to leave it out. I'm going to end the cout statement with a semicolon, okay? So why a semicolon? And as you can see here, semicolon, there's a semicolon here, there's a semicolon here. So a semicolon just basically signifies the end of a sentence or the end of a line, okay? So just like in English, when you write a sentence, you write a full stop at the end of the line. Similar case right here, okay? I'm gonna click on save. So I save my files by saying Control S. What you can do is that you can say file and you can say save everything here, Control Shift S. Doesn't matter. I use Control S. You can do it the manual way, Control save everything. You have to make sure that you always save before you run your programs, okay? Once you're done doing that, now it's time for us to actually run the code. So like I said earlier, the green play button or F9, just click on it and you'll see hello world. Okay, so it's still saying hello world. It means that we haven't done anything to change this. So that's where debugging comes in, okay? So also actually building and running the program again. So really what's being stored is the old program, the old contents of the contents of the old program is still stored in memory. So this program that we just written here has not been registered yet. So you want to rebuild it, rebuild it, and then we can run it. So if you look next to your play button, you have build and run, and then on the other side you have build. So let's just use build and run so that it does everything automatically. So if I build and run, this is what we get, okay? So our program now runs. We have hello world, I am good, okay? A little different from the program that we had earlier, but it's still the same thing. So let me just explain what's going on here, okay? We first include the IO stream. Just do that for now. It'll start making sense the more programs you write. Using namespace std just allows us to use cout without the std, right? Let me explain that for a second. I'm gonna write something called a comment, right? If you want to make comments, maybe you want to keep track of exactly what you're doing, just go // you'll see your comment will change colors, and then you can say this is my function, or this is my main function, okay? This is my main function, and so these lines, when you are running your program, these lines don't get executed. So you can basically write whatever it is that you want here. I can write whatever here. Okay, so you can do anything. Obviously, if you were to write something like that here, or you write whatever, your program won't run anymore, because C++ doesn't understand exactly what you're typing here, and C++ doesn't understand English. So basically these are comments. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to comment this out. I'm going to say // as you can see, the color of it changes. That means that this line will not be executed by the compiler anymore, and as a result, I'm going to say F9. Okay, so I was trying to run the program, but I noticed that I can't run the program. The reason why you can run a program is that you can run a program that is already running. So if you look here on my computer, I already have this program running. It's still running, so I need to first close it before I can run another program. Okay, so I'm gonna say debug and run again, and you'll see something is gonna happen. So if you look here at the bottom, logs and others, you see here we have an error message. I'm gonna zoom that in. I can't really zoom that in, that's crazy. Okay, so we have an error. It says cout was not declared in the scope, and we have a little red line here that shows us that there's a problem. So it says it's not declared, and the reason for that is because now we've eliminated namespace std. So you have to do this manually. You would have to do std : cout. Now if I save that and I rebuild and run that, now it works again. Now it works, my program works. Okay, I'm gonna click any button to continue, and my application terminates, and now my program works. Okay, so but that's tedious, so you're gonna always have to type in std cout all the time, right? And if I copy this and I paste it over here, and I say new world, for instance, I would always have to have std over and over again. Okay, so I don't want that. I want to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to uncomment this line using namespace std, so that we can keep using cout without the std, right? And what I'm going to do here is that I want to demonstrate something to you guys, right? If I build and run with these two lines of code, look at what happens. It says hello world, I am good, new world. Okay, so that's bad. Why? Because these two lines are on the same line, right? And these are two separate lines. So what you want to do is that you want to separate this with a new line. So just like the example that we got earlier, you can create a new line inside these quotation marks with a \n, okay, after this line, and I could also have a \n after this line. And if I save that and I build and run, there we go. So we have hello world, I am good, and then that creates a new line. So it takes the cursor to the next line, and then now you have new world right there, as you can see. And this /n will also create a new line, or takes the cursor to the next line. Okay, so remember, once you have your program running, just click any button to continue, and then your program successfully terminates. Okay, so I'm gonna save everything, and basically that's your first program, guys. You have comments, you realize that you can write anything in the comment section. You have your main function, everything of your program will go in between these two squiggly braces. You have your two couts, or you can add as many as you want, just to telling the compiler what to say on your terminal. And then this line return 0 just basically tells the computer that everything is running okay, right? So congratulations, you are now a programmer. You've written your very first program in C++. Okay, so but before you guys go, right, I want to show you guys something. So we're going to be writing a lot of code in these tutorials. So maybe some of these lines of code, maybe you're following along on your computer, but your program is not working like mine. What you want to do is that you may go to my source code directly, and how you go there is that just go on your browser. Okay, on the description of this video, right, in the description you'll see a link. the link is to the source code of everything that I've just written in the tutorial. Just go to that link. You'll be greeted by this page. This page, it says COS1511 Introduction to Programming 1 UNISA, and in there you'll see a lot of folders: lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, etc. And then just go to the video lesson that you are watching. In this case it will be lesson 1, your very first program, and then you'll see main.cpp or other files that we create in that lesson. Just click on that and then you'll see something like this, right? So this is basically equivalent to the program that we just written. Okay, include IO stream, int main, std, hello world, return 0, etc. And you can just copy this if you want, and you can go back here and you can paste it, and voila, you have everything that you need. So just one thing that I forgot to mention, guys, do you see how in the previous example I had /n there, just to demonstrate, just to create a new line or take the cursor to the next line? If you have std end line over here, then that will do it automatically. And like I said, if you include using namespace std, you don't have to have these stds here. You don't have to have these stds. You can have end line, and end line will automatically take the cursor to the next line, and you don't have to have the \n. So it's just a matter of preference. You can do whatever it is that you want. Okay, so like I said, just go to my GitHub and you'll see all the source codes for everything that you want to copy and paste into your own programs. But I highly recommend that you guys type out the programs yourself. Okay, so with that being said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the second lesson. All right, goodbye.